I hear the door.
Here's something.
Got my mask down in the car.
Do you?
I can go down and get it.
Yeah, we're all masked. Well, there's some over here too, Laurel, if you want to use that. There's the white ones over there.
Yeah, I've used those. Believe me, I have forgotten. Yeah. So we can shoot down this way. Is this okay?
Yep. Yeah, that's just
Oh,
the camera.
it's right there. You're good.
I think you're fine, really.
So we're live. We're ready to. There you go. Okay. Corporation of Harpers Ferry Budget and Finance Committee is meeting today on January 25th at 4 p.m. at Town Hall. This is a regular meeting. Let me read the notice. Until further notice, the Corporation of Harpers Ferry governing and deliberative bodies will hold its meetings and/or hearings virtually via Zoom webinar like this one, which provides for public participation during a public comment period when applicable and when posted on the agenda. Alternatively, the public may watch by YouTube, television, video live stream, and listen by telephone. These options comply with the West Virginia Open Governmental Meetings Act. Okay. So let's go through this. It looks bad, but it is not so bad. We're going to hopefully move through it quickly. First, we're going to do the approval of the minutes. There is a typo on the date of November 28th. It is November 30th. Approve the agenda. Oh, yes. Sorry, I was moving it a little too fast. Thank you. Approval of the agenda.
I'm going to approve.
Yeah, you move.
Oh, did we need to move up?
No, not. Oh, well, he's already moved up.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we already had him up. We're just going to knock out the
All right.
heads. Yeah.
Okay.
I move to approve the agenda as submitted.
You know, I have a second.
Okay. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. So now let's do the approval of the minutes. Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. On the November, there was no meeting on November 28th. It is a typo. It's the 30th. Those minutes you should have received, as well as the one from January 3rd, and the final purchasing protocol ad hoc study committee meetings from the December 2nd. I move to approve all 3 meeting minutes of those 3-minute meetings
As amended.
as amended with the date of the November 30th, 2021.
I say.
Discussion?
I was just having joined up. I have not read them.
Oh,
But,
We still do vote on it.
we still- yeah.
okay.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. All right. So let's move on. All right. So this discussion and action on employee salary increase. This is going to require executive session. So
Yeah, I move to enter executive session under the open governmental proceedings. This is Article 9A, 6-9A-4 for matters arising from the appointment, employment, retirement, promotion, transfer, demotion, disciplining, resignation, discharge, dismissal, or compensation of a public officer or employee or prospective public officer or employee, unless the public officer or employee or prospective public officer or employee requests an open meeting. So if not,
do I have a second it? Second it. All those in favor? Aye. Unanimous. When we come back, I'm going to introduce everybody's name. I forgot to do that. I like to do that in the meeting. Just
And Chris, you said 6:30, right? Tonight? Or
6:30.
6:30, okay. That's like something that I need to be.
There's not a lot of people, I think 13, 14.
Oh, that's 6:30.
6:30. 6:30.
Okay.
Okay. The Budget Finance Committee has returned from executive session. In the meeting, I forgot to mention who's here. Deb Kelly, the financial officer of Harpers Ferry. Storm DiConzanzo, town council. Laurel Drake, our newest member from town council, serving now. Thank you. Mayor Vaughn was in earlier, and myself, Christian Petrikonis. So next item of business is going to be on item number 2. And because I'm now heading this thing up, let me give you what I've put together so far. This is the new ad hoc town hall complex study committee. So, and this was a motion that I was involved in the last town council. So it's going to be about this building, this facility here. So at this point in time, I've got a lot of input I got from the mayor, I talked to Deb, I talked to Melissa and to Angie, I talked to Patty, I talked to everybody. So, and we've had 2 residents that have opted to participate. And one is Chad Gutierrez. He is got a phenomenal background in, it's great, he's a resident, but his background in construction. And he's actually worked on earlier in his career before Harpers Ferry, he used to rebuild commercial buildings. So right in line with what we need here. The other one is who put an email out is Roberta Mead, and so that's the only other one, okay, at this point. So what I envision is having a meeting in early February. I was thinking of doing everybody, and this is just everybody being the office staff. And I know, Mayor, we talked about this going smaller, but this meeting, I need a brainstorming session. It's not going to be a normal type meeting. This is a meeting where everybody just bring it, and we're just going to bring it on, bring everything you want to talk about the town hall. So, and then Laurel Drake will be on it with myself from Budget and Finance. We're going to have the entire staff of the town hall, all the working staff will be at this meeting. So I'll make sure it's during office hours, probably at the end of the day. And then the residents, I'm not sure where Roberta is right now, but maybe she'll have to be Zoom. So that's where we're at. There's no motion or anything on this, any action. I'm just going to start it up.
Thanks for the update.
Okay. Anything you guys want to add?
No, it sounds like the composition of the group will be good to be able to get our.
Mayor, do you have something?
Yeah, do you have, or are you at the point of coming up with a ballpark projected budget for this?
No, we haven't done that yet at all.
So step one.
We have monies that were in the budget, set for the budget for this year. I believe it was $15,000. That could be the start of what we need. I envision this thing is going to take a while, and this is, but the first thing, and I had some discussion with Chad about this, we really need to bring an engineer in, a structural engineer to look this building over very closely to see what we can do and can't do. Like, so when we have a meeting, everybody wants to do this, an office over here and a door opening there. Well, we might not be able to do that, but so one of the early things we're going to have to do is get somebody in here to physically look at this building. And I don't know if there are plans available.
I think there might be.
That would be valuable.
I need to ask Patty, but I think there might be.
Okay, so that's the kind of information I don't know, and that's why I want the brainstorming meeting at first. And then I envision us kind of getting this group a little smaller. Trying to get 8-9 people together is very difficult. We need to get down to 4 and 5 people doing work, and maybe we have subcommittees and such. So, okay, that's where we're at. Item number 2, discussion action on the purchase for the waterworks, a fiberglass cap.
Oh, it's item 3.
Is that item 3? Oh, item 3, sorry. This fiberglass cap for a 2015 Dodge 1500 with a 5'7" bed. At this point in time, we've gotten 2 bids from Chris Steyer. One is from November, the other one's December. Technically, we should have 3. I also had some conversation with him over email. Took a while to get an answer. The truck is 7 years old. The truck has about 80,000 miles, and I wanted to make sure this wasn't a piece of junk.
It's worth investing more in this
Worth
truck.
putting some money into this truck, so I believe it is. There is an option, though, I think we should look at, based on its age, is to look for a used cap for this truck. This is one of the most common trucks in America. Trust me, a Dodge 150, was it? Yeah, it's a 1500 with that size bed is so common, it's not even funny. And I can't believe there's not a used one around someplace. So my opinion, we don't really have all the bids in. We need 3. And because I think there's a better way to utilize the money for waterworks, I mean, to save some money, I think we should look at some used caps.
So that the 3rd and beyond estimate should be used.
Or you could, yeah, that's a possibility. Okay, yeah, I get where you're going with that, sure.
And I noticed though that it's not just a cap, it's got all these tools, tool holders.
Well,
It's-
yeah.
Yeah, they just want to, well, from what I gather,
That's what's making it so expensive, is those things.
yeah, well, yeah.
Well, sir, what's the need in just?
The need is they want to have their tools out of the weather instead of having it in an open bed. I get that, but why can't they just leave them in the plant and then put the tools when they go on the truck, do that? I mean, but I think the best way to go from a cost standpoint is try and find a used one.
Well, it doesn't mean you couldn't find a used one that has those features.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
I think that makes sense. And just generally, I assume that there is this coming out the capital account.
Yeah, so where we are with that, that'll come before Water Commission and then to you all finally on Thursday for approval as part of the revision 2 for your fiscal 22 budget. And I went into the capital outlay auto section of that budget to see if we need to adjust that or any more to accommodate this pricing range. And we have enough in there for right now. So I did not make any adjustment to that. So you can approve it with any parameters or say that you just want to see updated bidding information before you approve anything.
Yeah.
So there's enough money in the budget right now to accommodate this,
Right.
and it will remain.
And was that because you did a budget revision? Is that why?
We're in the process of doing that right now. That's what's going to come before you tomorrow, and council will approve it finally on Thursday.
And did that budget revision include allowing for this expense?
It's, I didn't-
45,000 for this.
yes, but I did not need to make an adjustment to the capital outlay line in order to do so. I examined what was in that number, and I think there's enough in there where we are
Okay.
that I just need to make any changes to it. Yeah, right. So when you look at that, there's not going to be a change, but I'm telling you that I already looked at it and we should be okay,
Okay.
especially if it comes down.
Um,
And I'm clear.
Mhm. And also I wanted to say, I will do this looking for this cap. They're a little busy down there right now. They're too busy down there.
Yeah.
So I will take it on myself on the used cap. I'm not
Okay.
looking for new stuff. We already got the 2 bids, which I think almost need to be
Well, they're
redone.
kind of old.
They're old.
And if you get more than 3, that's okay too.
That's right. The big document of the purchasing process did not limit it to 3
And
bids.
I'm limited, right?
So I'm gonna make a motion I make a motion that the Budget and Finance Committee will research the acquisition of a used fiberglass cap for the 2015 Dodge 1500. And that the other two bids be updated by Waterworks. Anything else you think I need to add to that?
I don't think
I'm a
so.
team person. I like,
I second.
okay. Discussion?
Sounds like a good idea.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Oh, by the way, I'm assuming I'm taking minutes.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
If you can send me that motion later, email it or whatever.
Get it down there. I saw it get right on top.
Oh, man, that was right off the top of my head.
Wow, you're winging it. No, I didn't realize that was,
We got the recording. We got-
that's okay. I was taking notes.
Okay, good.
If you have it,
Whoa.
I got it.
I mean, I just made that. I mean, I didn't make it up.
Wow,
I
tapping it's
knew.
in. Okay.
All right, next item 4, a discussion action for a communication strategy to solicit for requests for funding for the fiscal 22 and 23 budget. I believe that's already been, you're already been doing that.
Typically, what we've done in the past is we've sent out emails to the various organizations outside of our entity and inside of our entity that would have in the past requested funds from our budget. So those have been emailed, and we are requesting that responses come back to us the end of February. And
And then the letter said February 1st.
you say February 1st?
I think so. But later in the document, it said 21st.
Well, that might have been a typo, meaning 21st. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
It probably was a typo. So, which happens. So we'll double check that, but the idea was, let's get that all back in here at the end of the month, and then possibly for our, I think last year what we did was our regular meeting that we had, and we invited people to present any funding requests that they had if they wanted to, otherwise we would review them at that time. So we'll have ideally what we'll want to do is in February, prior to that, we'll want to have a preliminary meeting about fiscal 23 budget. Then we will look at those solicitations. Then we will have another meeting in the middle of, well, then we'll gauge ourselves, but ideally we'll have another meeting in the middle of March, and then at the end of March, we have to have our numbers down to state auditor's office and that's for the paper. Or we lay the levy at the end of April. But all our work pretty much is done by the end of March. So now we'll start getting into February, March is when we'll have probably 3 or 4 meetings.
Yeah.
Just dedicated to the budget.
Yeah, and we'll be, that's gonna be, we're coming into the hard time for our group.
So we'll want to just, before we depart, just take a look at our calendars, talk about times that are best to meet. And, and particularly set that one time for outside for organizations to come and discuss with us there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Is
That's
that
good.
what you were looking for?
that's what I was looking for,
So it's just an update.
especially for everybody who's new. And
Yeah.
also, so that's it for that. Number 5, discussion action regarding the rebidding of the sludge removal from the sedimentation tank.
So Storm and I are going to be meeting on Thursday,
Yes.
between in the middle of the afternoon, with Infotech, that will be building that bid online, and we will endeavor to get that either completed or set another date in which it will be completed in the next week, so that it can be solicited on the electronic bidding platform. We will then also alert it will be the same. We may, I don't know, we'll have to take a look and see if we need to have another meeting with council to approve that or how we do that, because it will be in a different format than it was. So, we'll use the same materials.
Yes.
So we may need to have a special meeting in there or tie it in with the February meeting so that we can look at that.
Right.
But we want to get it out to bid so we can have somebody lined up in 1st of March, so that we can then be looking at having that done within the next 2 months when the weather comes clear.
Can you make sure that the 2 vendors that pre-bid bid
All
before?
the people who
Okay,
who
please,
sent out
okay.
before, we will absolutely be in contact with them, tell them we're rebidding it, here's the platform, you can go and
And
register.
that's anybody, that's not just the ones who did before, but
It's anybody.
anyone else who has ever expressed interest in it, right?
In that, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yes,
Okay.
even though maybe they didn't submit a bid.
Yeah.
Anybody who.
But we specifically want to make sure that people that did.
Yeah.
They did a lot of work, so we want to
Anybody
recognize
on
that.
who we sent the original sludge removal, bid request to, we will make sure that they get that information.
But yes, we want to cast the net as wide as we can, and that's one of the big benefits of the electronic platform is may give us access to more contractors.
Do we have to still do this in the newspaper?
We don't have to, no.
Okay.
I don't know, you would know better if there's a benefit to continuing to do that.
Well, I think we sort of talked about that we had decided that it does cast that net. There's no reason why we couldn't put a posting downstairs, saying this is where it is. If you want to put a small blurb in the paper, you could say this is where it is, and we could do that. But one of the ideas was that this was putting that thing in the paper costs a lot of money.
Yeah, they direct people, or they can contact town hall if for some reason they don't have.
So there's those options if you want to do that. So think about that as we get closer, but we're coming down the home stretch hopefully. And if we don't get it done Thursday, we're gonna get it done within a week. I'd like to.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
So we're talking about within a week, the bid for the sludge removal will be available for companies to look at.
Well, what I'm saying is that within a week, and I'm talking a broad week, the end of the first week of February, our goal is that the bid will be ready. Then we should decide here as whether we want that to go to council again for final approval, because it is not the same exact bid that the information is the same, but it's not like here's the piece of paper. It's in the bid platform.
Right.
So
To prove the specific.
I'm expecting that we should be able to print that out and show council what we're doing.
Yeah.
But, and we maybe need to know, we still need to find that out.
Yeah.
Because we're still,
Well, I imagine it has to be because I remember them saying that you can also have people bid manually through it.
okay.
But that's the question we should ask our contact.
I mean, I would imagine maybe it's in our best interest to have council bless it one more time before.
I agree.
So, okay, so let's just say that then. And at the end of, once we get it done on the Infotech bidding platform, we will then either ask for a special meeting or we will at the regular February meeting ask for that to be blessed, and then we will post and we will send it out for posting.
The regular meeting is the second Monday, so it's 14th of February.
Yeah.
So we might want to have a special meeting before that, if it's ready, I guess. I see that as like, it's such a prime issue that needs to get out because we have to get that going.
Well, that's true, but if you set it up you can set it up for a 2-week bid cycle, which is a long bid cycle. And you're still gonna be 1st of March. It's gonna be too cold to do it. I think we're in good time. I mean, it really should take a contractor between a week and 2 weeks to take that out there. So if you get them started in April 1st, you got a month.
I agree, but I just saying, I think the issue is such an important one for us that we should try to do it as soon as possible. That's my only point.
Oh, for sure. I think the other key part is making sure that the documentation is clear. We checked all the boxes properly.
Yes,
And that it's been.
that's right.
And I think that's the thing that we'll be able to do if we print it out is coming to council, and it can be a very quick meeting. Over Zoom,
Exactly.
but that'll be part of the public record.
Okay. So we don't need to do any action on this? No, okay. All right, number 6, discussion action regarding the rebidding of the Elk Run pipeline. It's probably all similar discussion.
Yeah, in fact, we had the session with the Infotech people, and that was what they set up first because it's more complicated. And it was quite a call. We worked through it. So the same thing with this one, that we want to make sure that I don't know, Deb, do you feel like we also need blessing on this one?
Yeah, we're not ready on that outrun one, but I think we'll, as soon as we finish sedimentation bit one, then we'll get into finishing the outrun. Yeah, we did set up a lot, but I think we're missing all the back support. We set up like a format, but we don't have the stuff that got.
We haven't populated the specific details.
We may also need a legal review. I'm just sitting here thinking, so we might want to incorporate that in our process for both of them.
Can I ask, so what I read, the ARPA money has been allocated for that project. What does that add to the timeline?
Okay, so the first tranche of the ARPA money was designated for the Elk Run project. What you're going to be doing on Thursday night is dedicating, if it is your desire, the second tranche. You will also to be used for that. You will also be dedicating in that meeting to be your desire to commit soft cost funds that came from the USDA loan to us in terms of monies that we had already paid out in advance of the loan, and they would return to us as cash when the loan was paid out. We'll be taking some of that money to be able to then provide the cash flow that's needed until we get the ARPA money so that we can start on the project in the summer, early summer. So the ARPA second tranche won't come until the late summer. And if we can get this thing up to bid and get it contracted in May, we would use the soft cost money to be able to pay the contractor until such time as that ARPA money comes in and then we reimburse ourselves. So in your town council meeting on Thursday, you're going to be committing to that. And you're going to do it in a couple of steps. We're going to have all that documentation of what was the ARPA grant money. And then, and so that frees up the project to move forward without having to wait for the second tranche of money to arrive.
Good, great. It's nice to know we can move the money around to take care of it right when we need it.
Right. Yeah, and I've had that all approved through Cox Holiday, the lawyers, mayor, everybody. And I also talked to the state auditors office.
And by the way, I just want to say that all of the bidding and what you guys have set up, I am very appreciative of all that. I know you spent hours and hours and hours learning this new system and training, and I think it's great. And I'm very appreciative that this is set up, and I'll look forward to trying to learn it myself.
Yeah, it's really going to help the town out in a lot of ways to improve all the things that we need to do going forward. Yeah.
And always keep in mind that Kelly is the contact for these bids. This is not the water plant people. I don't want them talking to the water plant or anybody there here.
When we're in the bid process.
When we're in the bid process, yes.
Right, it's town hall. Yes.
Town hall. Don't need any problems there. Okay. All right, then we done with that one? Okay. Step 7, discussion of action regarding revision 2 for the fiscal year 2022 general fund budget.
That's actually revision, sorry.
Revision. Okay, I can't even keep up.
It's okay. So that's going to be the next thing coming down the pipe in February, which we'll do kind of in tandem with as we get ready for 23, because the pieces that are changing are going to affect both of the years for the most part. So some of the things that I don't have that ready yet, but I just had it on here as a placeholder. So we'll be looking at our wage changes that we've had since our police clerk retired and that kind of thing. I'll be shuffling that around and getting things in the right departments. We are going to be looking at changes in our income as they might become effective. So any knowledge that we have about that can help us do some planning for that is what we're going to be looking for there. Also any knowledge that we have about projects that we think are coming forward, changes to this building or whatever else. We're looking at a lot of things that people have been talking to us about that they want to use monies for. So we got to start thinking about where that's going to go on our budget, et cetera. And we have some, committed to a police vehicle that we made already that's just waiting on parts. And so we have some financial issues to deal with that. So those are the things that we're going to be addressing in this revision to get us through the end of June. But the same issues will also pertain to 23. So we'll kind of, I'm hoping to get that revision through by the end of February.
So See, our next full meeting is the last Tuesday of next month, but looks like we're gonna have to have something.
Well, we're gonna need at least one meeting in February before we get to the end of the month to start on the 23 budget, and we'll probably tie it.
We'll do it right now and put in a date.
Sure. Well, which one do you have?
I don't wait, I was thinking we wait till the end so we
Okay.
can sort it all out.
All right. We'll be proactive.
We don't want hundreds of people watching too.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Okay, now old business discussion action regarding the securing of the $20,000 study grant from the West Virginia DEP's tributary team for a stormwater concept plan. Harpers Ferry Town Council's already approved their portion. Bolivar Town Council funding outcome is
Still pending. So I've been in contact, maintained contact with Region 9. And they have all the information. So there's been no further word. So, but it's understood with Region 9 that if it turns out that Bolivar cannot or does not want to participate on us being able to move forward with it, to be able to solve our stormwater issues.
is it not even on their agenda for their upcoming meeting?
I've only heard secondhand. So, yeah, at this point, we are looking for more information.
All right, I just want to see what's going on because we committed to the whole project here. Because I wanted to make sure it's moving. We need to get this study done. They're moving ahead.
And are we just, since we were just talking about the budget, are we expecting the town to make that commitment before June 30th?
Yes, although it's unclear on what date those funds would need to be transferred.
Okay.
So last I checked in with Region 9 on it was the end of last week. I can check in with them.
Well, just rough timeframe.
Yeah, it depends which budget we want to put that in.
Put it in this budget and it doesn't get used till next budget, we transfer it over, that's fine.
Okay. All right, and point 2, discussion and action regarding a graphic portrayal of the town finance over the last 10 years for town council and for town council members and residents.
Yeah, progress continues. At this point, I've applied the inflation adjustments to all the numbers going back to 2011. And Deb and I are going to be sitting down and next week, the week after, to really detail the numbers to make sure that they are consistent, apples to apples. And then from that, it'll be a relatively quick matter to prepare some actual graphs that we can look at together as budget and finance and determine what is going to be the most useful tool or set of tools for us, for town council and for the public to see.
Okay. Anything else?
No, and Laurel, I'm not sure if you've seen them. I can forward the draft to you.
They're pretty impressive.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, what we're trying to do is have more transparency on what we do in the financials for the residents. And of course, for us, it's a good tool for us to, particularly for trends and things like that.
Yeah, so it's not going down into details of the finances, but looking at for each year, what was the spread of where did the revenue come from? And looking at it in a graphic way, when you see it, I think it would be pretty clear. And that's one of the things we can use as a tool for making our broader gear decisions.
Okay, so with that, I guess that's it. With that, I'm going to close our meeting. I make a motion that we end our session today at 5:25. 5:25. All those in favor? Aye.